this episode of Watch Casting, Watches of the Force. I wanted to call it the light side, but it doesn't really make sense. They've got names for the different force. They've actually got a dark side, middle side, and good side in the books and so forth, but they never really mention it in the movie. So it's just the force, in which case, we're just going with that. hobbyofhours.com, open for business. Get you a mug, get you a watch book, get you some art, and t-shirts are on the way. Have a good bit of fun and support the channel if you'd like to. Hope you enjoyed the episode of the Watches of the Dark Side. And in today's episode, we're switching over. We're flipping the switch to the light side, the bright side of the Force. R2D2, our little buddy. Funny thing about watches and clocks in general is that IWC and Breitling make clocks for Bentley to go into the dash. So what better way to slap a clock or a watch under R2D2 than to just take out one of those panels and put in a Bentley clock. R2D2, you are welcome. Although I don't think you can see your own clock, but that's all right. It's for others and not yourself. Fast on the heels, his buddy C3PO, probably one of the most annoying characters, only trumped by Jar Jar, but also a bit of a bragger with that 6 million languages thing. Clearly he needs a data bank type watch. And yeah, this one is a bit of a cheap match in that it's all faux gold, just like C3PO. I would audit him and say, you know what, C3PO, I need a dot matrix printout of all the different languages. And he's like, I don't have a printer, sir. Because I don't think he actually does 6 million on the dot. It's probably like 5.9 and change. Anywho, the Ewoks. Gosh, the teddy bear tree people. Fossil makes a very unusual, hilariously weird watch that is actually a sundial you can wear on your wrist. It doesn't actually move. You literally need to use the sun with it. So bit of a gimmick, bit of some comedy. And the other option would have been to choose one of those watches made of wood, like a wood dial. But those are quartz. You'd still have to replace the battery. This way they can just hold it up and see when dinner time is and, just use the sun on their planet. I'm sorry, the Force Moon of Endor. Princess Leia. This was more or less an easy one. We had to go Cartier, baby. But not just any Cartier. We went Cartier Basculant quartz model, which is the largest in the Basculant line. I do have the Mécanique, and that wears great for me. This watch, in truth, may have worn a little bit large on the character, but it flips over, so whenever she's, going into battle mode, she's not going to bust up her crystal. And it's quartz, so, Robusto, and Cartier, pure class, just like the actress. Han Solo arguably could be in either of the videos. He is a scoundrel, a thief, a smuggler, and I dare say a murderer. We all know that Han shot first, and while he was trying to avoid getting taken to Jabba, Greedo was just doing his job, TBH. But clearly, Breitling, and no ordinary one, Breitling with the co-pilot, which I love the co-pilot. I think it's so brilliant to have an extra watch complication on the actual bracelet strap. I think it is epically good and epically cool. Chewie, Chewbacca, Audemars Piguet, Royal Oak offshore with the brown dial. And this one is a bit of a gimmick matchup in as much as the metal of the watch and the strap more or less match his bandolier. And I think it's super funny that Chewie would be wearing the most expensive watch of all of them. If for no other reason than it's a super match for the rest of his outfit. Because he's more or less running around naked, except for the bandolier. Gotta put a watch on his wrist with some class. Gotta class you up some, Chewie. I think the funniest of the demotivational posters is the one for Luke using this similar shot. And it more or less says, don't think about the 70,000 workers, the 50,000 plumbers, the 20,000 electricians. Just keep doing what the voices tell you to. So for Luke, and we went a bit on the nose for the next three, staying in the Seiko line, Seiko Flightmaster SNA 411, an absolute peach of a watch, and speaks more towards Luke's, being an entry-level pilot. This being a quartz piece with 200 meters water resistance, fabulous watch, covered at length by our friend TGV and others on the YouTube. Great watch. My brother has this watch, and it's a super pilot's watch and right up his alley. Obi-Wan was a tough one for me because I knew I wanted to stay in the Seiko line, so I had to go pro specs for him. I started out and ultimately landed on the Landmaster. This is a line in the pro specs series that a lot of people don't know about, or at least not a lot of watch YouTubers talk about that I'm aware of. But it's the Landmaster, and it has a extra GMT hand on there. It's a gorgeous watch, and you can get these up and down the spectrum. It's got a compass watch, and I see this as a watch more for him in his later years on Tatooine, having to navigate through the desert. But if we want to think about him in his pilot years, his younger days, I'm going Seiko Flightmaster Automatic, a watch I actually own and love. This is the fully automatic version of Flighty, and it's also the watch I took to Indianapolis for the TGV meetup, and I entered into the contest. I didn't win with that watch. I should have worn that watch and entered the Porsche design. Maybe I would have taken home the prize, but I ended up getting a great Seamaster from Derek anyway, so I had a fabulous time. But this watch is the next level up in Flightmasters compared to the SNA 411. And if we think about Obi-Wan being Luke's teacher or mentor, it's a suitable fit. And I don't know. I'm torn. Let me know in the comments what you think. Should I have gone Landmaster or Flighty Automatic? Yoda. Clearly, I wanted to go Grand Seiko for Yoda, clearly. There are so many dial variants corresponding to the different seasons. Certainly, we can find one in Swamp Green for Yoda. And again, this isn't so much a practical use watch as it is, keeping the theme running. Seiko to Prospect Seiko to Grand Seiko.
Ooh, Yoda likes this one.
Funny enough, why not put a clock or a watch onto the lightsabers? Taking inspiration from Victorinox. They've got a knife called the Timekeeper where they installed a clock on the side of the Swiss Army knife. And the lightsaber is more or less the Swiss Army knife for the Jedi and for the Sith. So, you still need to know the time. So I just more or less photoshopped that and slapped it on the side of the lightsaber. Kind of cool. And there you have it. The watches of the good side of the Force. The light side of the Force. The Forcey Force. That was a good bit of fun. Wanted to kick that one out for a good long time. So glad I got to it. And just as with the other video, I shall end with a real-world Star Wars story. I was in a Trader Joe's once, and I'm standing in line, minding my business. And in front of me is a young mother with her son, who's maybe 4 or 5 years old. Probably right on 4 or 5. Right in about that Calvin and Hobbes age. He turns around to me and just blurts out in like a super angry face, "I have a lightsaber and a blaster." So I gently put my groceries down and I say back to him, "Well, I only brought my lightsaber." And we proceeded to have a lightsaber battle across 3 of the lanes. They almost had to kick us out. He was having a ton of fun. His mother was laughing her butt off. And where are the people recording fun stuff? Because that video would have gone viral. Had an absolute blast. You got to have fun wherever you're going in life. Keep it light and bring the funny and bring some happiness and joy to Jedis everywhere, even younglings in training. All right. Hope that wherever you are in this wonderful, beautiful hobby of ours, that you are blessed, that the Force is with you. We will catch you in the next one. Peace. Boom. Pick up a book. 1001 Watch Designs, Volume 1. We've got line art, oil paintings, steampunk, and even super duper realistic ones. Ones that you could probably put on your wrist today. It's a good bit of fun and a great way to share your support. Thanks for coming along on the ride.